Is photography art?
Maybe. I found it very interesting because a few years ago I went to one of the most eminent art societies out here in the hills and asked for a membership form. Quite willing to hand it over to me and explain how much money it would cost to become a member of this art society, and then I started filling it out and they said, what sort of art do you do? I said, I'm a photographer. And they looked at me funny and said, this is an art society. So I sort of got told photography was not an art. And that inspired me to run an exhibition of my own called It's Not Art.
Do creative people have to be tormented to produce art?
Again, speaking from personal experience, I've found that the best photos I've taken were in times of distress, when I was going through bad depression or this or that or the other. But the photos that I take in those periods, to me, are much more meaningful and deep than photos I take when I'm all happy and life's going well.
Is public art a good thing to have?
I would say straight off yes. To me, there's a huge amount of issues with public art. While the name alone, is public art really public? Most of the public art we get out here is auspiced by groups, like community groups getting grants. You've got a small selection of people who get some money and then they decide what will be good for the town, and it goes up. And the rest of the town, the thousands of people who live in that town, don't get any say in it and then have to live with it. To me, even the label public art, it's not really public art. Yeah, the other things about public art is quite often it's not done by artists. They're more likely to give you grant money if you involve, say, kids. So what you do is you get a bunch of kids doing art in a public area. Why can't you get an artist to do art? Or if you want kindergarten art, get your grandson to do a picture and you can put it on your fridge. But do you really want that picture 20 foot wide plastered down in the middle of your town, that will stay there for years? Which brings up that other issue. There is no system saying about art, should it have a use-by date? Should public art only be done by professional artists? There's all these questions that simply aren't answered ever.
Is art totally subjective?
No. It's partially subjective in that you might like it or you might not. But there's recognised features about art, especially when you do traditional art like painting, the classical stuff. I have my own taste as well, but that is my own thing that I should keep to myself. So your own personal taste shouldn't come into it. But there are other things, is it done by an artist? Is it done by a group of school kids? I'm going to get crucified for this,
If you put, say, 500 monkeys in a room with a bunch of typewriters...
all you get is them pulling the typewriters apart and throwing their feces at each other, because that's what monkeys do.
Okay, right.
Yeah, you won't get the works of Shakespeare. But yeah, use by date. Not one single piece of public art that I've come across, and I've been involved with several of these projects, none of them have use by date. So various art projects go up in our towns. 5 years later, they're dilapidated, they've lost their colour, they've been tagged, and they stay there because there's nothing, not anything built into the project that says this will last 5 years and then come down, be replaced, or revamped, touched up, freshened up.
The McDonald's symbol a form of art?
Now we're talking Andy Warhol, are we? I think it's great design and good marketing, which can be mistaken for art. And that's why Andy Warhol called his workshop the factory.
Was what Andy was doing art?
He was fostering art. But he did foster art and artists, including musicians, Lou Reed. But I would like to see, especially the Shire, and I've spoken to about this twice, okay, so they already know my view on this, public art pieces that they have a stake in, that they give some money to, should have a use-by date. Because there's art in Mount Evelyn, the town where I live, done by some great artists. One particular fellow wants the stuff he did 10 years ago to be gotten rid of because it's totally worn out. It's fading, chipping, paint, it's flaking away. He's not allowed to, even though it was his work. We have recognised artists. The Yarra Valley is full of artists, fantastic artists.
And people have worked darn hard to become artists.
Yeah, but they often get ignored because the people who get the grants look at them like bean counters. We have X amount for this piece of art going up and X amount for administration fees, and there's nothing left then to get a decent artist. Well, the town where I live, Mount Evelyn, you can't throw a rock without hitting an artist. However, they're not approached to do public art. I would think you could count on the hand of a leper the people who are artists in Mount Evelyn who have been involved in public art projects, and they usually give most of their time free because they want something decent to be up, because they know what the alternative is. Wouldn't it be great to have fantastic pieces of art in our towns? We have the artists.
So the question that I have is art taught or caught?
Both. art can be taught in the sense of technique. You can improve dramatically as a musician if you're taught various techniques. I can't really speak as a painter because I'm not a painter. I wouldn't know what to do with a brush. But I am a photographer. There's a very fine line between taking an arty shot and taking a well-worked, technically good photo. And you can almost get away with calling a technically good photo some art. And the trick there, and I'm giving away some cheat sheets here, is placement. If you hang some of your good photos in an art gallery in nice frames and have an art exhibition, you've already pretty well hoodwinked everybody that they're seeing art. And that's one of the things that can happen. You hang it up and you put a big price tag on it and people think it's art. But you can be taught a lot of aspects of art, whether it's three-dimensional, sculpturing, two-dimensional, or painting, classical, fine art, music, writing.
In conclusion, the concept of being an artist is something that's innate within some people.
Yeah,
everyone. I think everyone's got.
I think everybody should explore their creativity. They might find it in the most unusual ways, and the more creativity we have out there, the better, because mundane just kills and deadens. So you can be taught things, but that isn't necessarily always the best solution. I've had singers tell me everybody can sing, and they're most emphatic that they can teach anybody to sing. Now, I don't like singing. I think, to me personally, it's a waste of breath. I love other people singing, that's fine, but I can't be bothered with singing. I love music, but I don't like to sing myself. If you taught me to sing, that would be a tragic waste of time, because I'm not going to get much better than I am now, and I'm not going to enjoy it, and I'm not going to add anything to the world of music. So find where your creativity is and explore that. But the base there is, I do have an eye. Okay, I don't have a voice, but I do have an eye.